Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's Auxis Corporate Performance Series webinar, Creating a High-Touch Customer Service Experience. My name is Yazan Arroyo, and I'm the moderator for today's webinar. Today's webinar is presented by Auxis. Auxis is a unique consulting and outsourcing firm comprised of former industry professionals who don't act like traditional consultants. Offering a customized, real-world, results-oriented approach, we become ingrained in our clients' culture and vision and truly dedicated to their success. Our depth of experience allows us to maintain a focus on customization, flexibility, and bottom-line results at a very competitive cost structure. At this point, I'd like to introduce our featured speaker, Ed Quintero. Ed Quintero is the Vice President of Client Development for Auxis. He has over 28 years of experience diagnosing client needs and implementing new solutions. Since 1999, Ed has been a founding member of 3 BPO companies, which have generated over 21,000 new positions, focused on helping U.S. companies improve operational efficiencies and reduce costs in the areas of customer support and back-office operations. Ed spent most of his career at Arthur Andersen and holds an MBA from Southern New Hampshire University. Before we begin, let me remind all participants we welcome your questions. Please submit them in your webinar panel at any time. We'll address those questions at the conclusion of the webinar. And with that, I'll turn it over to our speaker, Ed. Ed?
Thank you, Yaslin. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ed Quintero, and it is my pleasure to take the next 60 minutes to address a topic that is of great interest to all businesses that sell products or services to other businesses or consumers, and that is how to provide a high-touch customer service experience to your customers. We live in a marketplace where too many products and services are chasing too little demand. So this poses a great challenge to all businesses, and that is, what else can we do to attract and retain customers? And the stakes are high because research shows that reducing customer attrition by 5 to 10% can increase annual profits by as much as 75% to a typical company. And that is according to a Wharton study. Businesses interact with clients at various levels and through various means. And today, I am going to address how we can positively impact customer service interactions through the phone, mail, chat, and social media. Basically, through your contact centers or customer support operations, which is a key department within all companies, or most companies, those companies that sell products to clients. In today's business environment, and more so than ever before, companies must worry about how to provide the best possible customer service experience. That's because their business growth depends on keeping customers coming back. Word of mouth advertising, creating a buzz in their industry that will make the name synonymous with the likes of Amazon or Zappos, or other companies known for providing a great customer experience. If they can't do that, their very survival may be at stake. And for small and mid-sized enterprises specifically, the need to provide a high-touch experience to their customers becomes particularly challenging because they may lack the tools and skills, but it can also be a strong differentiator. In fact, a high-performance contact center can be one of your strongest differentiators. So what is high-touch? Hopefully you can see the next page. Oxford Dictionary defines high-touch as denoting or relating to a business characterized by a very close relationship with its customers or clients. And this takes several meanings, such as being able to anticipate your customers' needs, providing the type of customer support, either through phone, email, social media, chat, whatever, which makes customers rave to family and friends about their great experiences with your company. And it is evidenced by consistently achieving high customer satisfaction scores. Today, it is more important than ever before to assess our company's customer service operations. And that's because companies, and all of us really, have been subject to some significant trends in the past few years. First, the globalizing economy that we live in, which continuously changes the rules of the game. It forces us to compete against other products or service providers from anywhere in the world, and they all bring some attribute and challenge that alter the way we should sell and address the needs of our clients. Secondly, companies that succeed and prosper are, as usual, those that can adapt. For some, that may mean producing products at a lower cost, and in this case, Walmart comes to mind, or changing your competitive strategy depending on whether you want to create customer appeal based on value, quality, performance, price, or a combination of some of these in order to appeal to a specific market segment. However, there's perhaps no more significant change and challenge to companies in this area than the shift from call center to contact center. From call centers that use the phone to take orders and provide customer service to a contact center environment that needs to service their customers in the way they want to be served. It may be through mail, it may be through text, chat, it may be through voice, it may be 24/7, and more, it may be through other means such as social media and video and mobile and others, and in the process, increase customer loyalty towards the business. And this trend is driven by customer demand. For example, it used to be that personalized customer service was voice-to-voice, human-to-human. At that time, sending an email or letter was actually impersonal. And that wasn't too long ago. And it is true, and it is still true for many people today. Today, and within the next few years, the millennial customers, those born after 1980, we come to market with buying power bigger than that of the baby boomers. And these people, also known as Gen Y, bring with them an entirely new set of expectations about customer service. And unless consumer product companies are prepared, they can be facing a real challenge. Gen Y people want to be treated differently in business interactions because they are a generation defined by the digital world which they have known since infancy. A group of people who live their entire lives in the internet, Wi-Fi, smartphone-enabled world. And this has significant implications. For example, millennials don't want to call you to find out if the order they placed last week has shipped or not. But they do want you, the seller, to send them instant updates about the status of their order into their inbox or phone. And they want speed and they want efficiency. But since millennials comprise only a segment of the population you may sell to, you still need to figure out how to cater to the customer service needs of Gen X, baby boomers, and more. And in that sense, human-to-human interactions in the contact center will not die for a long time. The point here is that the interaction with your clients should be through the means of their choice and not through means only available to you via your current customer support system, CRPs, telephone limitations, and the like. The next example I can think of is Amazon. They clearly cater to the millennials. You can order online, you receive automated shipment updates, they provide all the great customer features, but if you want to talk to somebody at Amazon, that is available also. So what are the characteristics of a high-touch customer service center? Hopefully you can see that on the line. Well, there are many, and we'll get into some very specific best practices. But first, these high-touch performing contact centers do not just measure standard and traditional KPIs, such as service level, average handle time, or average speed of answer, and the like. These operational measures have been the cornerstone of call center operations for decades. And while they're important, they simply reflect the daily service a typical call center needs to provide, and not a true measure of how satisfied your customers really are with the total customer experience. They don't really support the goal of customer retention or customer loyalty or profitable revenue growth for your company. So a high-touch environment has an intense focus on total customer satisfaction, and it takes a proactive approach to anticipating the questions and issues customers will have in the future. It means resolving the customer's issue the first time he or she calls. One critical KPI here is FTR, first time resolution, which means you have to empower your call center agents to make certain decisions. And beyond that, unless you want to replicate Sapo's business model, to give them access to supervisors or other departments to solve the customer's issue on the first call. It means streamlining the number of touch points and therefore minimize the handoffs inside your company, which customers and none of us really like. FTR also places emphasis on solving the customer's issue on the first touch point, rather than putting pressure on agents to get off the phone as quickly as possible. For some contact centers, this creates a conflict between average handle time and first-time resolution. I think a good example here is the fully empowered Sapo's customer service agent again. He is empowered to make final decisions, and all with an intense focus on satisfying customers. He's the all-star. It also means institutionalizing all the key metrics, such as measuring the Net Promoter Score and employee engagement, which are directly linked to customer loyalty and advocacy. And I will talk about Net Promoter Score and customer loyalty later in this presentation. To do this well requires a systematic approach to gather and analyze your inbound call data, to uncover the reasons forcing customers to call you, or to have to call you a second and a third time, and then improving your communication channels so you can proactively anticipate your customers' needs and reduce the number of calls, which makes them happier and creates higher customer loyalty and revenues for your company. It also reduces your costs. The question specifically for mid-sized companies is what steps can be taken to improve total customer service and truly use it as a competitive advantage. To do this means examining your current processes and also your people and technology in order to design and implement a set of specific best practices to truly optimize your contact center operations. And what I am going to do next is to spell out those best practices which are critical for companies to implement. It is sometimes challenging to implement, but when put into practice, it can provide great dividends for your company. So I'm sure that either as executives of our respective companies or as customers, we have all experienced contact centers that seem to click. You walk in and you immediately can feel the high energy on the floor. It feels as though every agent clearly understands the contact center's mission and they're all pulling in the same direction. These are centers of excellence that outperform the average call center. What makes it different? What makes them click? Well, here are the top 7 reasons to consider, and I hope that a few of these will resonate with you and your operations. Because if they do, then that spells opportunity for your company. First, they ensure a well-defined customer access strategy. We'll explore that in more detail next. Second, they have a never-ending focus on creating high value all around them in everything they do. Third, they measure and improve the voice of the customer. They have a program in place, they truly listen to their customers, and most importantly, they take action on what they hear. Fourth, they view people development as a key to success. They're people. Number 5, they build services to meet evolving customer expectations. Evolving means they anticipate those expectations. 6, they make effective use of the key metrics. They don't just measure and track KPIs, they go beyond that. And 7, they use technology to improve their customer operations. So let's examine each one of these in more detail and see how each can help a call center become a high-touch contact center. The first order of business for these well-run contact centers is they ensure they have a well-defined customer access strategy. A company's customer access strategy is the roadmap that helps the company define what customer experience does the company wish to offer and be known for. It also identifies new customer service capabilities the company wishes to add to support the company's mission and strategy for the business, and also for their brand. Just like in business, success in customer service starts with having a well-defined strategy. Then comes finding the right people to implement it, the right processes to meet the customers' and employees' needs, and then the right technology that best meets those needs. So it is people, process, and technology, but it all starts with strategy first. And the key is to revise this customer access strategy periodically and make sure that it is in unison with the company's business strategy. This plan should be an extension of corporate strategy, and it should also help shape corporate strategy. It should position the contact center as the company's communication hub with its clients, its customers, and with customer loyalty as its primary objective. So it is an effort that touches virtually every business unit within a company, and it should be supported by top-level management. An effective customer access strategy is one that ensures consistent service to your customers. It is also continuously evolving. And it is really where the guts of contact center operations come together, and it includes the following components that you see on this page. First, customers. This part of the plan summarizes how the company segments its customers and prospects, and it may be by business versus consumers, by geography, buying behavior, it may be by volumes or demographics, etc., as well as how the organization is going to serve the needs of each one of these segments. A lot of work and effort can go into defining this section, but it's an important one. The next one is access alternatives. This part of the plan identifies the company's communication channels for providing its customers with the needed services. It may be through voice, that has been the traditional method, but more and more through email, chat, web, social channels, and more. It also identifies the corresponding access data for each one of these channels, such as phone numbers, web URL, faxes, etc. Very important to look at because in as little as 1 year, customer preferences can change, which may change your company's business strategy, and therefore this part of your customer access strategy should change accordingly. Contact types. This step spells out the various types of interactions that occur between the company and its customers, such as placing orders, changing orders, providing shipment updates, resolving billing issues, etc. The next one is hours of operation, and that is just that. What hours does the company intend to support its customers, given the various contact channels and customer segments that it serves? But it is not a trivial question. There are many demands, both internal and external, that companies and contact centers need to frequently consider before making decisions in this area. And service level and response time. This part of the plan identifies the service level and response time the company intends to provide. On the next page, the routing methodology addresses how by customer type or access channel each contact is going to be routed and distributed throughout the contact center. And this is very critical, and more so as time goes by, because of the different needs and wants of different customers. As we said, millennials want speed and efficiency. Baby boomers want a human touch. But no customer wants to be routed multiple times in a call center, not having to repeat the same information over and over again to different agents. Nobody likes that. Resource requirements. This part of the plan determines which technology systems and people resources are required to address the needs of each customer segment and contact type. And the final two are analysis and business unit collaboration. This area defines how the data that is captured and produced during customer interactions in your contact center will be used to improve products, services, and processes. Not something that is always a formalized process within companies, especially in the SMB segment. Some contact centers also use this section to summarize major performance objectives and how the contact center's value and contributions will be measured throughout the year by the company. Information required. This part of the plan identifies the information on customers, products, and services that will need to be accessible to agents as they service their clients, as well as the data that must be captured by agents during customer interactions. It also includes how the contact center will comply with applicable data privacy and regulatory requirements. And finally, the plan must also contain guidelines for deploying new services. This is a framework which identifies how the company will deploy new customer services as needed, and it addresses technology architectures, standards, capital investments, and the like. The bottom line is that your company's access strategy should be a reflection of your company's unique brand and in full support of your company's business strategy. A good example here, I think, is Fidelity Investments. Fidelity Investments' customer access strategy is very flexible. Fidelity both encourages self-service, which drives costs down for the company, but also provides easy access to various agent groups that reflect the wide variety of financial services the company offers. They seem to have the right mix of access channels, routing methods, and resources in place. And they are very flexible in their approach to customer care. But once this blueprint, the customer access strategy, is in place, up to date, and fully in support of the company's mission, then other best practices come to mind. A high-touch contact center, as I hope you can see on the screen, also has an ever-ending focus on creating high value for their customers. This type of value is evidenced in two different areas. Number one, they track and continuously improve contact center efficiency. This means leveraging technology, people, resources, and operational practices to meet the basic needs of customers approaching the contact center in a very efficient way. It also means performing the basic contact center mission. But companies can use their contact centers to create value that goes just beyond being efficient. So number two, they use contact center data, big data analytics, if you would, to continuously create strategic value for the company. Over the past 2 decades, the mission of contact centers has evolved. Today, leading companies see their contact center resources not just as support functions, but more like strategic assets that can contribute to the overall mission of the company, especially the competitive need to continuously improve the customer experience, to create high touch. According to an Aberdeen study, in 2007, 58% of companies cited improving the customer experience as a top priority. When the same survey was conducted in 2013, 96% of the 260 companies surveyed cited improving the customer experience not as one of their primary goals, but as their number one objective. And that is a big change in just 6 years. And the impact can be huge. That's because every single minute in the operation of any contact center, they're capturing data and information that can literally change their company. Consider, for example, the impact that a contact center can have when the data they gather is analyzed and used by their manufacturing unit to identify quality problems, or helping marketing develop more effective campaigns, or when it helps IT understand customer access preferences in order for IT to develop more effective self-service platforms in their contact center. And an example in this area is GE, General Electric, which for over 25 years has been leveraging data collected by their contact center personnel to design better products and create targeted marketing campaigns. Or Amazon, which actually refers to the contact centers as their R&D machines, research and development machines, and analyzes contact center data to continuously create self-service systems to increase customer service efficiency. That is real high touch. Leading companies recognize the need to do both of these exceedingly well. There is a connection between streamlining operational efficiencies and using contact center data to not only improve the customer experience, but create strategic value for the company. For example, consider the differences among best-in-class and laggard companies in a recent Aberdeen study of contact center optimization across 3 dimensions. The first one is when it comes to being able to resolve the customer issue the first time he calls, first-time resolution. Best-in-class companies are achieving 84% first call resolution, while the laggards are at a mere 13%. In terms of year-over-year improvements in customer satisfaction, best-in-class improved 14.3% from 2012 to 2013. The laggards, however, decreased by 2%. And when it comes to agent productivity, best-in-class companies improved by close to 12%, while the laggards went backwards by over 3%. The fact is that contact centers today are experiencing an awakening regarding their role in strategic contributions to the companies. And that increases the value of the contact center within the company. And those contact centers that have a never-ending focus on creating high value are helping the companies grow and succeed in new ways year after year. Okay, the next best practice is also very critical, and it is high-touch contact centers measure and improve the voice of the customer. This means they have a formal program for collecting customer data, analyzing that data, and acting on it to continuously improve their customers' experience. And this is critical. Jack Welch, when CEO of GE, said, "We have only 2 sources of competitive advantage. 1, the ability to learn more about our customers faster than the competition, and 2, the ability to turn that learning into action faster than the competition." And I think that that really underscores how important it is to listen to your customers and after that to take action. However, quantifying the customer's experience can be a challenge for many companies, but one that can pay big dividends when performed correctly. The main decision points are what to measure and when to do it. Knowing exactly what you are going to attempting to quantify is the first step in accurately setting up a process to quantify it. Knowing when to measure each KPI is also critical. For example, asking a transaction-based customer satisfaction question is appropriate in the early stages of a customer interaction with your company. But a question about customer effort is more effective when the customer has interacted with your company on a couple of occasions or several times. So what KPIs or metrics can we measure to capture the voice of the customer? There are mainly 3 critical ones. Number 1 is customer satisfaction. This can be a global measure where you ask your customers how satisfied are they in interacting with your company in general, or a transactional measure where you ask your customers how satisfied or dissatisfied he is with an individual customer support interaction. The next one is customer effort. Customer effort contrasts customer expectations against their actual customer experience. For example, your company or call center may ask, how much effort do you personally have to put forth in order to have your request handled by our company? Followed by, how much effort do you expect to put forth in order to have our company handle your request? And this can be scored using a scale of 1 to 10. The third one is customer loyalty. Customer loyalty measures provide snapshots of customer commitment, retention, and their willingness to provide recommendations, which is quite telling. Today we live in an economy of infidelity, which is the opposite of loyalty. And that's because we as consumers have too many choices from where to buy. And therefore, only those companies that find ways to win customer loyalty will ultimately be able to retain and gain new customers and therefore survive and prosper. The Net Promoter Score, or NPS, is a popular measure used to predict customer loyalty. This is the question which asks, how likely are you to recommend our company to somebody else that you know? The fundamental principle of NPS is that all customers that the contact center deals with can be divided into three categories. 1, promoters, 2, passives, or 3, detractors. On a scale of 0 to 10, promoters are those that when you ask the question, how likely are you to recommend our company or our product to somebody else you know, will score you 9 and 10. These are loyal customers who you can view as part of your company's sales force. They promote you. Passives are those who on the same scale score you 7 and 8 when you ask them the same question. They're satisfied with the customer interaction with you, but they're not enthusiastic, and they are therefore vulnerable to moving to your competitors. And finally, the detractors are those who score you between 0 and 6, not 0 and 1, 0 and 6. These are unhappy customers who did not like the interaction with your contact center, can damage your brand and impede your company's growth by negative word of mouth, especially in this age of the internet, social media, and instant communications. And of course, this is most useful if you use this data to continuously measure, manage, and improve agent performance, and better align the skills and activities which agents need to satisfy the needs of your customers. So tie it back to agent performance, to mentoring, and to coaching. But overall, having a well-defined voice of the customer program in place is critical to your company's growth and survival in a tough economy. The next big characteristic of high-touch customer contact centers is one to relate to our company's most precious resources, and that is its people. The high-touch contact center truly believes that developing their people, resources, is a key to success. And it is not just a bullet on their mission statement. They truly practice it, and by doing so, gain a competitive advantage. And everybody in the contact center is impacted by it. For example, agents are impacted today more than ever before. They're answering to customers who are increasingly better and better informed. Today, everything happens at a faster pace. So agents must adjust to rapid changes in products, technologies, and new customer demands. They're forced to work in a time-sensitive and multimedia environment. They have to be better communicators and be familiar with all channels available to their customers, including social media applications and self-service tools, because they need to help customers use those channels. Supervisors are also being challenged as their new responsibilities include increasing levels of data analytics, process improvement initiatives, and dealing with other company departments. They're also being challenged into assessing and improving their customers' performance, their agents' performance across many more access channels. And each has the potential to include having to gain proficiency with new technologies such as social media application tools. Finally, contact center directors find themselves in a similar role as that traveled by CIOs in the past 2 or 3 decades. Just like IT became the lifeblood of a company's contact center directors are becoming or being held more accountable today for helping to shape company strategy, to help the company become more competitive. Managers and directors of successful companies understand the huge role that customer interactions have in their companies. That is, if intelligence and analytics is properly gleaned from their customer support interactions and the vast amounts of data that they can collect. And of course, the lives of other support roles are also changing in similar ways, and that includes people that support the contact center in quality, analytics, trainers, HR, and more. Secondly, high-touch contact centers also leverage skills and knowledge across all contact center personnel. This means managers teach agents the strategic value of the center, why they exist, as well as the purpose and impact of the company's growth, rather than just how to perform a call center transaction. Managers, in these cases, also leverage other skills among their agents, such as they develop a training program which continuously evolves, from analyzing performance data at the group level and individual level. This tactical training program involves into a structural plan for continued education to accommodate the training needs of agents at various intervals, such as 3, 9, 12-month intervals, as well as how to best deliver that knowledge and skill. And they also build better systems and tools to make it easier to leverage their people's knowledge and skill. For example, more effective knowledge bases, tools, and desktops environments to not only improve the agent's work, but of course the ultimate customer satisfaction. Thirdly, they understand the interrelationships among hiring, training, and coaching. Anyone knows that each one of these is important to ensure effective contact center operations. But what is often missed is the degree to which these processes depend on each other. For example, a highly effective recruiting and hiring process ensures your contact center has the right agents, therefore placing less pressure on training and coaching down the line. Some underlying trends have resulted in contact centers having to place more and different emphasis on training. Two types come to mind. One is that the contact center environment is becoming more complex for reasons we discussed. Another one is that high-touch contact centers are placing more emphasis on finding agents that align, support, and further the company's culture, and then training them on the necessary skills they need, rather than hiring agents who may have the call center skills but may not fit the company's culture. And in this case, Southwest Airlines come to mind. And there are many other companies who also hire for character, meaning the passion of the individual and fit with the company or the company's culture, and then train them for competence. Of course, contact centers that wish to truly provide the best possible service to their clients first and foremost take care of the basics in developing their agents. They know that treating agents with respect is the best way to ensure agents will treat their company's clients with respect. They give agents a vision and values and empower them to solve their clients' problems. They involve agents in problem solving and build passion in them. They make sure agents' efforts are recognized, and in doing so, help them to increase their personal performance. And finally, they enrich agents' jobs and find opportunities for them to grow their careers within the company. And these management processes create mutual trust between agents and management and counter the high levels of turnover, which are frequently found in call centers. Number 5, and in this connected world, what customers expect from your contact center is constantly changing and evolving. And of course, rapid pace, at a more rapid pace than ever before. Therefore, high-touch contact centers are those that have a pulse on key customer expectations, understand them, and continuously align their services with those changing expectations. Fortunately, in the connected world that we live in, it is easier today than ever before to understand customer expectations. The ICIM, International Customer Management Institute, has followed this topic for over 2 decades and finds that there are 10 customer expectations that consistently emerge from every customer survey, and you can see those on the screen. The challenge may be in truly understanding what each one of these mean, and that is from the customer perspective, and how to respond to them. For example, being accessible 15 or 20 years ago probably meant having a call center with agents who answered the phone and worked reasonably well. That was enough way back then. But today, in order to satisfy this customer expectation, You must at least have 24/7 operations, provide multiple access channels, not just the phone, and be a one-stop shop. These have become the minimum practices to satisfy this evolving customer need of accessibility, and customer expectations continue to change. Advances in social networks, web-based services, and mobile devices are examples that place additional requirements on contact centers regarding this customer expectation of being accessible. The second one is treat me with courtesy. And while courtesy used to refer mainly to the way agents handle calls, today's definition of courtesy is also systems and process dependent. The high-touch contact center now has to worry about getting customers to the right place within their contact centers at the right time without transferring them around, making them repeat the same information or go over and over their account history again and again with agents. Number three, the definition of being responsive has also evolved in many ways. Consider, for example, email response times. It is only within the last few years, 5 to 7 years, that customers' expectations for email responses have evolved from several days to 24 hours to a matter of hours. Today, high-touch contact centers are staffing for email responses in similar fashion as inbound phone calls in real time and are handling them as they arrive. In addition, customers today expect that all channels within a high-touch contact center be integrated and work seamlessly so that changes they make to an account online, as an example, are immediately reflected on the records that their agents access to provide customer service. Another common customer expectation is for contact centers to provide well-trained and informed agents. This is one that continues to challenge either well-run and big companies or big contact centers. And with multiple access channels and better informed customers, this is more important than ever before. So as we discussed before, high-touch contact centers are placing significant effort and investments in upgrading the recruiting and training and are implementing the necessary tools for agents, supervisors, and managers to meet this critical customer expectation. Many of these customer expectations are understandably interrelated and require contact centers to take action to ensure that people, processes, and technology all work in sync. For example, providing automated replies to email messages can help the high-touch contact center establish response time expectations. So when the customer says, tell me what to expect, meet your commitments, do it right the first time, follow up, and all that, it means high-touch contact centers must complement these automated replies to email messages, as an example, with forecasts, tools, schedules, and training that ensure customers reach the right agents at the right time and their requests are handled properly. Finally, customers expect to do business with companies known for their social responsibility. And any lapse or perceived lapse in the company's social responsibility can quickly become known by thousands of customers through the various blogs, social media, and websites and the like, which can make it very difficult for the company to recover and sometimes remain competitive. Of course, understanding these customer expectations is critical in designing and implementing more effective contact center services. The best-run contact centers make sure that every decision they make, big or small, is guided by the impact that decision can have on each one of these customer expectations. Doing this properly year after year is a challenge for most companies, but evolving customer expectations and your ability to efficiently respond to them present a huge opportunity for companies to differentiate themselves and gain a competitive advantage. Next, high-touch contact centers leverage the key metrics and have a true handle on their operations and the value they provide. This is critical because many research studies find that there's often a gap between the value contact centers think they provide and the actual value delivered as measured by their clients. As an example, ICIM studies often find that 2/3 of respondents believe that their contact centers are in the top 1/3 in terms of overall performance. This is, of course, a mathematical impossibility. And the perception versus reality of measures such as quality and first-time resolution can vary by as much as 20 and 25 percentage points between the contact center and how their customers actually measure it. So the first objective is for high-touch contact centers to deal with and measure their businesses using actual performance data. And in doing so, establish the right objectives and measures, interpret results accurately, and use this accurate data to continuously improve services. And this is critical because when process improvement initiatives are coupled with practical objectives and accountabilities for contact center managers and agents, then the contact center can begin to see dramatic process improvements. So the best run contact centers not only make business decisions using real data, but establish unique objectives and key performance measures that are right for their organizations. And here are a few of the most critical KPIs found in well-run contact centers today. Number one, strategic value. This means what value is the contact center contributing to the business units, and how is that value positively impacting the company's revenues, marketing programs, product demand, brand recognition, etc. As we said earlier, more and more organizations view their contact center as strategic assets that can contribute to other parts of the business. Amazon, as we said, calls their contact center their R&D machines. Another critical KPI is customer satisfaction and loyalty. CSAT requires no further explanation. That is customer satisfaction. If a business does not have a good handle on it, their future truly can be put into question. Customer loyalty, as we spoke before, provides snapshots of customers' commitment, retention, and their willingness to provide recommendations of your products and services to others. And in this case, the Net Promoter Score, as we spoke, is a very good indicator. Third, employee satisfaction and engagement, which clearly influence, even drive customer satisfaction, and are an essential measure in a high-touch contact center today. Any dissatisfaction among your employee ranks clearly will have a negative impact in contact center operations. Number four, quality and first call resolution. Quality is the link between contact-by-contact activities and the company's most important objectives. And first call resolution is essentially an extension of quality, a tangible result of getting quality right. First service and response time. This measures getting customers to the right place at the right time, because if the contact center can't effectively do that, then little less probably will matter. And schedule adherence, which means having the right number of properly skilled agents in the right place at the right time. These are the most critical KPIs. But of course, there are other metrics that companies use, such as forecast accuracy. Because if the contact center struggles to precisely predict the volume of calls or emails or whatever that are coming in, then it is almost going to be impossible to attain good results in other areas of contact center operations. And finally, high-touch contact centers need to be aware of potential conflicts in the metrics they track and use to make decisions. For example, many organizations also track average handle time, which is essentially a measure for forecasting and gauging the impact of potential process improvements. But many companies are also moving away from establishing average handle time as a strict measure of agent performance. That's because average handle time sometimes measures, not sometimes, but it really measures how many customers can an agent talk to in a given day or a given hour. And an agent's ability to get customers quickly off the line can be contradictory to customer satisfaction. The bottom line is that whatever measures a high-touch contact center chooses to implement, this should be driven by the company's mission and objectives. High-touch contact centers also remember that each agent in the center has an impact on overall customer performance. So they make sure that the interrelated nature of contact center objectives and responsibilities is understood by all in the contact center. And a good example here is Zappos. At Zappos, everyone in the company, accountants, lawyers, IT personnel, goes through their same training as their contact center loyalty team. And to quote Zappos CEO, if we want our brand to be about customer service, then customer service has to be the whole company, not just the contact center department. Really interesting. And finally, high-touch contact centers are avid users of proven technologies. It is inevitable that rapid advancements in technologies can make a tremendous impact on contact centers that embrace them. Technology continues to advance rapidly. High-capacity fiber cables now connect the entire world, and that, coupled with call center technologies, have created new service capabilities that contact centers can employ to improve their customer service experiences. Technology will continue to impact every facet of contact center operations. For example, what not so long ago were two different sets of technologies, one for voice and one for data, are now being integrated into one platform, which when coupled with other tools allows new services to be delivered, such as multimedia applications, meaning all contacts can be handled by a single routing system. Multi-site operations, regardless of where agents work around the world or at the company's office or home office. Integrated reporting, workflow and quality management to manage virtually any type of contact center activity. And performance management, sometimes referred to as scorecards and dashboards, all fully integrated, no matter how dispersed the contact center's operations may be. However, the use of new contact center technologies also bring with them new challenges, such as customers are better informed, and this places additional emphasis on agents. Agents must evolve to meet or match customer service needs and expectations. Agent assistance services must be deployed wisely. And it forces managers to refine contact center structures, and contact centers become more distributors. Okay? So here you have it. These are some of the best practices we can use to design and implement a high-touch contact center experience for our clients. It is continuously evolving. It is a continuous journey, not a final destination. So it is never too late to start building this type of operating environment, and hopefully one that creates raving fans for your customers and services. Thank you for listening, and if any of you are interested in exploring ways to improve your contact center operation, Auxis offers a complimentary assessment. Simply call or email any one of us, and there is no cost of obligation of any kind, of course. So thank you for listening. I'll attempt to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ed. Yes, we have a question here from one of our participants. What is the best way to implement voice recognition technology as the first level of a customer service call so that it doesn't affect customer satisfaction?
Yeah, that is a good topic. Contact centers need to be very careful finding the right balance between offering the simplicity of self-service tools, which the millennials, like we said, like, and the right type of human touch, which baby boomers desire. This also means balancing the cost reduction promise of speech recognition technologies with customer satisfaction. Voice recognition can often be a good replacement for IVR technologies, which force us to push buttons on the telephone. So it can be a great enhancement to customer satisfaction in that case. One best practice here is to always, and at any point in time during a caller's experience with your contact center, to give them the option to hit a button or say a word in the case of speech recognition, so that they can always opt out and be able to go to an agent right away who can answer the questions they may have. and therefore prevent what quite often happens, which is the merry-go-round that we have all experienced with some IVRs and speech recognition systems. We don't like the merry-go-round. So always give a way to opt out.
Okay, thank you. And
anything else?
Yes, there's another question here. How do you measure employee engagement? Ed?
Yes, I cannot hear you.
Ed?
Yes, I cannot
Sorry.
hear you. How do you measure what?
How do you measure employee engagement?
Oh, okay. Thanks. That is a good question, and it's not an easy one to answer. It is actually complicated because engagement is a feeling, right? And how do you measure other feelings like sadness or happiness or love, for example? But this is, as time goes by, an important topic and becoming more important as time goes by in contact center operations. All of us in contact center operations have learned that we always need to improve a process. And therefore, in order to improve a process, you have to be able to measure it. So how are we going to be able to measure something that is a feeling? The best way to do it is the same way you would measure another feeling, and that is on a scale of 1 to 10. How do you feel about this or that? And based on that and the number of questions, then you are able to assign a specific number in a similar fashion as what we do when we measure the Net Promoter Score. So a company like Zappos, for example, is able to say that they have a 92 NPS, Net Promoter Score, that is repeat business. And in a similar fashion, we're able to say that XYZ company has a 70-75% employee engagement score when measure such as things such as customer commitment or company commitment to customer satisfaction and things like that. That is the best way to do it on a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay, thank you, Ed. And then we have a third question. How do you set up a voice of the customer program?
Yeah, that's a good question and a critical item within call center operations. Many and many more companies are now setting up VOC programs, but a full 1/3 of them do not yet have a VOC program, and that is according to data provided by Forrester Research. Customer feedback can be captured through many sources, including surveys after a customer interaction, online service after a self-service interaction, or email service after the customer replies to an email or gets an email reply from us. Even today, there are speech recognition analytic tools which can measure customer emotions and provide results. But the main things to consider here is make sure that the voice of the customer program that you put in place is part of your company's business strategy and that you measure is fully in support of the company goals. Also, choose a survey methodology that, as we discussed earlier, allows you to figure out what to measure and when to do it. You also want to centralize the voice of the customer program. I've seen call center companies that are so huge that they have various VOC programs or teams analyzing data and providing results. And that sometimes can be quite confusing. But most importantly, analyze the data you collect from these VOC programs and take action on it because your customers will be impacted by it. Okay, well, it doesn't sound like there are any more questions, so thank you for listening, and if we can be of any help, do not hesitate to reach out to us.
Yes, thank you, Ed, and to all of our participants for joining us today. Please watch for our follow-up email with the replay link along with a copy of this presentation. Also, please take a moment to complete our brief exit survey. And on behalf of Ed and the Auxis team, we thank you again and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye, everybody.